Hey guys, Sean Klinger with Vital MX, and we are in the dense forest of South Carolina, Randy Hawkins' place, to ride the 2020 YZ250FX. This bike gets a lot of changes, but these changes we've seen and you've seen on the 2019 YZ250F. So all the changes that went from the 18 to the 19 on the motocross bike now shows up on the 2020 bike. Basically, the 2020 YZ250F and YZ250FX now share a lot of the same engine architecture and frame. Looking at the 2000 FX and looking at the 2020, the changes are all new frame. Then there's some engine changes. The cylinder head's different, clutches larger diameter, so that's new. Compared to the moto version, there's only 5 gears, they're close together. The 6-speed on the FX, first and second are lower than first and second on a moto bike, and then third's about the same. Fourth and fifth and sixth are all way taller than the moto bike. So it's spread out. It also got new engine hangers, and the engine mounting spots with the new frame are different on this bike. So all of those came from the motocross version, and now we're seeing them on the 250FX. A couple things on this bike, obviously, that make it different than the motocross 250F, and that is a much larger tank. They've actually lowered the tank down in this part of the frame that fills up kind of the gap that was down there. So out back, there's an 18-inch rear wheel. There is a kickstand, which is all new for 2020. It's a different shape, it's a different style. It tucks up a little bit more. The shroud area here, it is now a concave instead of convex shape here, and that slims up everything up front. And then the seat in the middle, and definitely back here, all of this has been lowered. Suspension changes, obviously they have different internal suspension settings for the FX that are aimed at more woods racing and GNCC, so it's a little bit more compliant, but it's still KYB SSS fork and the KYB shock. This is definitely a really good crossover machine, meaning when you ride it, it's still like a competition-oriented bike. It's not a boring trail bike by any means. It's not like putt around play bike. This is a full-on race bike, and you feel it when you ride it. And something that they changed for the 2020 model, there's a map switch up here. Unloaded, there's 2 maps. Obviously, there's still the power tuner. You can change that with your phone, make pretty much infinite adjustments to different maps and send them to your bike. But coming stock, there is the light off, which is the aggressive kind of standard mode. Light on mellows everything out for more extreme or tight situations. And what was really cool was what we were riding today, more open loop, more of a faster pace, kind of 2-track, and the aggressive mode was perfect for that. I mean, it's a strong hit, strong power, feels very much like the YZ250F. There's some pretty big hill climbs out here, and there's some really muddy spots that you just need to power through and get up some tricky situations. You don't hesitate when you come up on trail obstacles or a down log or some rocks, and then what you see behind me, there's much tighter trails. This other section, that I put it on the mellower map, and it became much easier to control first, second gear. It wasn't so surgy and lurchy. Not abuse the clutch. I could just kind of use the throttle to ease on and off and have a lot more control. This bike, the harder you ride it, the faster you ride it, it responds really well. It's really planted to the ground. I feel like you can really put it where you want to on the trail. The chassis is still compliant, but it doesn't have any laziness to it. It still feels very aggressive, and you're able to flick it from side to side really easily. The power and the chassis and the suspension all work together to help you pop over things and get through things. So we had a really good time riding this bike. The only thing that I could say that is more of a con to this bike is if you're looking for a true comfort-based trail bike, probably more WR or something like that, because this bike is still definitely racer oriented, still performance based, especially in the tight stuff that we were riding today. I wouldn't want anything bigger. 450 would be complete overkill, maybe even a 350. So 250 worked perfect for out in these tight woods, and we had a really good time. So if you want to see more bike tests, go to vitalmx.com, and if you're on YouTube, please click the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.